Hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and this is part 2 of the Elseworlds crossover event. And I know I enjoyed part 1 very much, so who knows if these next 2 parts could have lived up, have followed through. But honestly, it did. Part 2 was very much fun. Once again, let's talk about the very beginning. We see Flash, Green Arrow, the other way around, and Supergirl. They all go to Gotham. This was huge. This was very huge for me because none of these CW shows have ever, including Smallville, gone to Gotham. It's been name dropped so many times. Even Bruce Wayne's been name dropped, but we actually get to see Gotham in the flesh. It's just as dirty and filthy as I want it to be, so I appreciated that. I love the fact that Oliver thinks that Batman is a myth. He doesn't think it's real. He thinks he was the first vigilante ever. And that's just amusing. He's so stubborn. He just won't concede. Even if deep down he probably does believe that there was a Batman. They found the Bat symbol. That was a great moment. And then, not too long after that, the 3 of them get arrested by Gotham PD. And that was kind of trippy too. Especially because Gotham, the show, is still going, at least until one more season. So I'm so used to seeing Fox and that show with GCPD. To see that cop car with those letters on it show up to arrest these guys was cool. It was cool, and seeing them in the jail cell was funny, and seeing them go back and forth and how they probably should have taken Kara's lead, and they get bailed out by Kate Kane. So this is our first look of Ruby Rose as Kate Kane, and she looks like Ruby Rose. So there's that. And she starts to talk to the group about what's happened with Gotham and how Bruce Wayne left. Batman has left for like 3 years. And I know that this has happened before in the comic books, in certain stories, where they want to establish either the Birds of Prey or Batwoman. They create a scenario where Batman has left. And I have never bought it. I've never really bought that Bruce Wayne would leave the city, at least this unattended. I know in The Dark Knight Rises he leaves to retire, but he leaves the fortune, leaves the mantle to somebody to know that Gotham is in safe hands. In this case, it looks like crap just went so bad that he took off, and I don't love that. I'm sure there's more to it. I never want to believe that Bruce Wayne would just up and leave Gotham and leave it to crap, but I guess that's sort of what seems like happened. And you see Kate Kane later on talking to Kara, and she mentions that she's Bruce Wayne's cousin. Bullshit! I don't want to get all a stickler for details and comic book accuracy. I tell ya, they didn't get that right. I don't want to be that guy. I don't. But I hope they're not trying to make it canon that Kate Kane is Bruce Wayne's cousin. I don't like that. I don't. It just feels like they're trying to keep her and Supergirl to have a relation, that both of their cousins are the 2 big heavy hitters of DC. I understand it writing-wise and interaction-wise between these 2, but it's just not the case. Batwoman isn't related to Bruce Wayne in any way, shape, or form. In fact, even when Kate Kane wants to become Batwoman and be inspired by Batman, he never approves of her using the Bat persona. She just goes about it on her own. He's never trained her. She's never been a part of the Bat family. So I'm trying to not get upset by that. It's a minor detail. It's a minor thing. If we ever do get a Batwoman TV show, then I guess they would make that canon. But again, it's not the greatest thing in the world. When you see them go to Arkham Asylum. I lost my mind. Arkham Asylum is obviously iconic when it comes to Gotham and Batman. But to see the CW guys, to see Flash, Green Arrow, Supergirl go to Arkham, first try to break in there with Caitlin, which was quite amusing. Because there was once upon a time where Caitlin probably did belong in there. And there was so many Easter eggs, so many references of like, hey, there's Oswald Cobblepot's name on a cell door, Poison Ivy, Edward Nygma, and you saw one of the inmates looking for something, and you see Bane's mask on the shelf. Who didn't miss that? And she eventually grabs Mr. Freeze's gun. So there was a lot of things in there for Batman fans to get giddy over, so you know that I did just that. And then Batwoman shows up, and she looks awesome, guys. I saw some people online who commented on the photos of Ruby Rose as Batwoman before this aired, like actually just the set pictures, and they said, some people said it looked great. But enough people were saying that it looked horrible and they thought it looked cheap. And look, maybe you still feel that way. Maybe you saw her in motion, in action, and you're not a fan of the way it looked. I just feel like she looked comic book accurate. She looked like Batwoman from the comics in live action, like full adaptation. She looked great. She had that hardened attitude about her. You could argue that Ruby Rose was brooding a little too much when she was in the Batcave, but okay, that's fine. I still like seeing her in action. I absolutely loved the moment when Oliver and Barry got dosed with Scarecrow's fear gas. Who was expecting that? They really just dived headfirst into some of this Batman villainy stuff, and it does make you think, wow, we could do some serious stuff with the Batman lore in a CW like show. I know Gotham does what it does. I'm so irritated by the way Gotham handles the mythology and the timeline of characters, but this was great to see Malcolm Merlyn back, Reverse Flash, two of arguably the best villains from each show, and then to see that they were actually fighting each other when Caitlin sees that was great. Batwoman stops it, and I liked when Supergirl used her X-ray vision to see Ruby Rose or see Kate Kane, the identity, so she went up to her and kind of said, hey, I know your secret. And then she figured out that she was Kara, which I'm surprised more people haven't done, but she was smart enough to do. And the two of them saying, hey, we can team up, world's finest. I'm all for that. If you want to have a crossover next year with just the two of these characters, I would be all for it. Or even just their own spin-off episode with the two of them. That would be great. We get side stuff of Felicity and the group. They open a portal and they see 90s Flash trying to communicate with them and tell them about the book. It reminded me a lot of the Batman vs. Superman scene with Barry Allen trying to tell them, Lois is the key. She's the future. Stop the future. That scene, it reminded me of that a little bit. I don't know if they were referencing that, but there was some stuff too with Felicity being worried about whether or not her and Oliver are going to make it because Iris figured out that it wasn't really him. It's mostly she had to be convinced. I wouldn't say Iris figured it out. You're giving her a little too much credit. But that carried over of Felicity and Oliver and the drama that they had. I did like that Oliver talked to her about it later and said that they're going to be okay. So hopefully that wraps things up. And the Monitor, we finally found out this guy's name. Apparently he's a big part. I don't remember, because I'm pretty sure I did watch some of the Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I don't remember this villain. Maybe he was involved in that. So you see that he gets the book back, gives it back to this doctor guy, and then he warps reality again, yet again. So now Oliver and Barry are like criminals. They lost their powers. The cops show up, and I was so upset when Officer Diaz shows up to arrest Oliver, and I said, oh, get rid of this actor. Why do they force this guy down our throats? I'm so sick of the Diaz character, in case you haven't been watching some of my rants on Arrow the last 2 seasons. I do not like that guy. I was upset to see him. Luckily, Oliver just said F that, knocked him out. They ran off. And then we see who else but black-suited Superman. Wow! I was begging for black-suited Superman in Justice League with Henry Cavill when he got resurrected, but we couldn't even get that in the movie. Yet CW is willing to give us a black-suited Superman. Thank you, CW. You're doing a lot right with this crossover. What a cliffhanger. I'm having a blast so far. Probably some of the funnest stuff that I've seen from the CW shows in a good while. So guys, what did you think of part 2 of this Elseworlds event? Are you enjoying it as much as I am? What are you looking forward to? What do you want to see in the finale? Like, comment, subscribe. Later!